Okay, so this is going to be how to log on to Academic Manager and basic navigation around the site. I'll do some more videos later on showing you how to do a few more advanced things. Get to the St. Paul's webpage, click on MySP. This will bring you to the login page, and quite simply you're going to put in, it's the first four initials of your last name and the first letter of your first name. So I would be Holg D. I'm actually going to log in as somebody else who has a class, and then I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same as senior. I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. So I logged in as Diana Koska just because I could, and you'll see that when you log in now it may look something like you've seen before, because I'm sure you'll log in every day and use this as your main location. You'll now see you've got something called My Groups, and it should be the name of the class or classes that you asked me to activate for you to look at. If it's not, please let me know and we'll fix that straight away. You can edit things on this page, but the main thing you want to be looking at is this. So if I now click on Literacy, I will get to the Academic Manager Literacy page. So what you're going to be able to see here is everything that's available for you to see and do. You've got your main dashboard. So for example, this is what the students and yourself are going to see primarily when you come onto the page. This is quite simply group overview, as it tells you in there. I clicked on the little pencil, I type in what it is, welcome class, and then type in whatever you want. Down here you'll see there's other things. We can play with HTML if you know that, bold, italics, underline. There is a possibility for inserting things, undo, redo. If you click on this, it's the full pop-up editor, which means this gives you many more options for things to do. So if you want bullet points, numbers, you can do all that sort of stuff, insert picture. So that's quite simply something easy for you to do if you want to do that. You'll find that button on many of the other text box spaces too. You'll also see that it says notify group members of this update. We don't want to, well, I don't want to do that right now, quite simply because that would send an email message to all of the parents associated with Diana's class, so I'm not going to do that. Update overview, it's just changing down here. So now I have welcome class, and I could put in other things in there too. Other things you've got available to you, if I go into my calendar, you'll see in the calendar there's currently nothing in there. That's quite simply because we don't have any assignments or anything set up in the calendar. We can talk about adding more of those events later on. If I was to click on the pencil over here, you'll see this takes us to the calendar. There are lots of various buttons and things which may seem a bit intimidating, but don't worry much at all about it. To create an event, quite simply click on the Create Event button. This will bring up the ability to put something in. This could be something as simple as a bake sale going on in your division. It could be a party going on in your classroom. It could be for a book fair, whatever it is you need to put in there. Most of you, this is where you could put in assignments, we'll talk about in a minute, but for most of your events it's going to be something like this. So bake sale, pick the date, whenever it is, click if it's an all-day event or not, put the timing, where it is, does it repeat, probably not, and then put in any notes, save and publish, then it's in your calendar. And that's how it would appear in here. Resources. When the resources loads up, click on New Folder. And in the new folder, you want to give it a name. For example, we may want a reading folder. And you may want to share it with other people in your grade or in your subject area. This is saying that they're allowed to add and remove things from it, which I'm sure you trust your colleagues, so that'll be okay. Archiving quite simply makes it invisible to students or people who view your page, which sometimes you may need to do. And to make it dynamic means that you can use it in other places or in other classes. So Diana only has a literacy class, whereas some of you may have multiple classes, so you do want to usually make it dynamic. So click on Browse, and you want to select this. You want to select this folder here. This is your personal storage location on the web page. So select that folder. You may not have 30, you may have different numbers in there. I'm still trying to figure all that out. And then you want to create folder. The page reloads. We now have reading. I can now add to that, edit and delete it. What that means is quite simply if I want to add to it, I'm just going to say directly to add to this reading folder. I can also click on new resource and it will because there's only one folder, it automatically says it's going to go in the reading because there isn't anything else. So my resource quite simply could be books. I'm going to give them a list of books that I would recommend, and I'm just going to make it an external link to a web page, www.books.com. I'm assuming it's a web page. I have no idea what's on it, but then I'll click post resource, and now you'll see there it is. You may also want to have literally an uploaded resource. So click on add. Now I go to file this time, upload a single file. It could quite simply be a movie, in which case I click on there and click open. It could be, I don't know, whatever this would be, skills and curriculum. Click on there, click open, and then it's going to be there. I'll click post resource. I need to do a title, sorry. Resource, post resource, and there it is. That's how you just upload a resource that way. You may have also noticed that one of my options was, I'll show you now, file, link to a dynamic folder. If I had other dynamic folders, as I was telling you earlier on, to create them that way, this is a location where you could get files from other folders that already exist on your drive, well, on your saved location on the web page. We can talk more about that later on. To see that as a student, or even as yourself, if you go back to your dashboard, it will show you that on your activity stream, things that are happening, it would now be there. And if I was to click on books, it will take me to barnesandnoble.com. That's interesting. I didn't realize they owned the books domain name. Who knew? Okay, so I'm going to get back off that and go back to my literacy. I'm going to play with the Dropbox feature later. I'm going to play with the quizzes later, just because these are things that I feel like need more than just this very quick introduction to tell you about, but feel free to play with them, absolutely. Just click on manage quizzes and make one up. Media is very similar to the resources. Again, there's nothing currently available, so if I click on manage media, this will open up a web page where I can start to upload media. Again, this looks pretty scary. It's a lot of information, and it's good information once you get used to it, because it's telling you how many things were viewed and things like that. So I would like to create a new folder. In my literacy is the channel, because that's the class. The folder title might simply be movies on books. So this is movies about the books that you're reading in class. So add that folder. And then we're in that folder right now, and you could have downloaded some clips from YouTube or TeacherTube or somewhere else, and then you would quite simply do a new video playlist and then get them from wherever it is you need to get them. Or you may have audio playlist. You're just adding whatever it is you need to do. I will go over this a little bit more detail later on. I know I've been very vague on this one right now. Other things you have at your disposal are the blog. Again, I don't have one going right now. We'll talk about that later on. Discussions is essentially the same as forum from Moodle. So I would do discussion board, and I'll stick with the same topic that has been going on well for a while. Books. Allow contributors to post new topics. That's going to be purely dependent on you. Do you want the students to be able to create new topics? Yes or no. Moderate new topics. So if you do want them to, you may want to only make it viewable by anybody else once you've agreed that it's a good topic. Email the moderator, moderate replies. Just read through all those. If you need assistance, let me know. These three options, chronological, threaded, and tree, it's better for you to play with it and view them yourself rather than me try and explain. Threaded and tree are very similar. Chronological literally is just whoever posted last gets plonked onto the bottom. Threaded and tree are quite similar but slightly different. So I would look at them yourself and you decide which one you like. And that, again, is up to you if you want to or not. So I'm going to take that off. And then if I was to create a discussion board, now this is a discussion board on books. So if I click on the books discussion board, I didn't put a question in deliberately because this is the point where I would now have a topic on books. Okay. Hope that makes sense. And then the last thing you can see right now is click on members, and you can see right now all the students in her class, and you should be able to see the same thing. So I can send a bulk email out if I need to. You shouldn't ever need to edit members. If there's any problems with email addresses for parents or anything on here, please contact me, and then I'll direct you to Emily or Susan, and we'll figure out what needs to be done. Okay, that's the first introduction on what you need to do. So please have a play with it. Please get in touch with me and let me know if there's anything that you want to see or you're not sure about. And all the feedback you can give me is wonderful. Emily and I have talked about trying to change the banner here at the top, if that's something you think would be a good idea. So if the page looked more like, I can't scroll all the way down now, but if it looked less busy at the top and was just this main section here, we would need to change the side slightly. Essentially, just give us all the feedback you can. This is going to help everybody else in the future. Okay, this will do for now, and then I'll give more information on Dropbox quizzes, media and blog and discussions later on. All right, have fun.